In the headline, the Prime Minister promises to strengthen anti-rape laws in the country. Plus, Cuba and Dominica renew agreement for technical cooperation in health, and the opposition leader recommends further discussion on the Sexual Offences Act. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this. First up, when amendments to the Sexual Offences Act are passed, a marital rape law will have fewer restrictions, and that means a husband or wife found guilty could face 14 years imprisonment.
The debate on the proposed amendments to the Sexual Offences Act continued when Parliament resumed on Monday afternoon. A trained counselor and women's rights activist, Tina Alexander, says strengthening marital rape legislation is necessary. Alexander formed part of groups which were consulted in the review of the Sexual Offences Act.
As a counsellor, I can't tell you about individuals' situations. There is no doubt that many people are trapped in violent and aggressive and abusive relationships, whether they're married to the person or not. It's quite a complicated situation, especially if there's substance abuse involved. We've seen a number of women experience violence and what would have been defined, well, what will be defined as rape if this amendment bill is passed. Many of them have come and they've not been able to talk about what's happened to them. And I'm excited to hear that we're going to have these new laws in place, because I think it will give women a voice.
Alexander says in addition to the law, victims should feel encouraged that there are support systems by NGOs they can look to.
Women need help. Some men also need help to escape those violent relationships. Many of them they're kind of living in hope that it will change. But actually, these things don't change without intervention. And the DNCW and Carryman and Lifeline and the new Psychological Society have counsellors available who can help people who want to get out of those relationships. To be honest, I hope it doesn't come to prosecution very often. Because prosecution in those situations is going to be very difficult and stressful. Nevertheless, it's right that the law should say these things are wrong.
In presenting the bill for debate, Justice Minister Reuben Blackmore explained that certain conditions to marital rape have been repealed in the new amendments.
Madam Speaker, why this amendment? Madam Speaker, the current laws contain certain conditions for rape to suffice, and they are as follows. Section 3, subsections 3 and 4 read of the current Act: a husband is guilty of the offense of rape where he has sexual intercourse with his wife without the consent by force, fear, or the use of a drug or things with the intent to stupefy or overpower her, where, and that's important, Madam Speaker, there is in existence in relation to them a decree of divorce, a decree of judicial separation, a separation order, or D, an order for the husband not to molest his wife or have sexual intercourse with her. Madam Speaker, Clause 4 of this bill would amend Section 4 of the Act to strengthen that section by making a new minor amendments.
Meantime, the country's leader is supporting a move to strengthen the law dealing with rape within marriages. Prime Minister Skerrit told Parliament these ills will not be addressed properly if suitable laws are not in place.
I do not believe that that is going to unnerve the institution of marriage. Because even if you are in a union, everybody still has his or her own rights. And those rights must be respected. So I appreciate the concerns raised by the public about, hey, look, be careful with this. But the question is, if not that, then what?
He has also challenged non-governmental organizations to be consistent in their advocacy of these matters. He said he is yet to hear certain activists publicly condemn government on reviewing the country's sex offenses.
And I'm making this point very clear as a member of Parliament, Madam Speaker, that there are certain NGOs in our world, not only in Dominica, but who speak about addressing these issues, but who would really not want those issues to be addressed because their source of funding would come to an end. And I get a sense, Madam Speaker, that there's not sufficient genuinity in some of us when we speak about those issues. And it disturbs me because we have a responsibility to protect our children irrespective of who the children are.
In other news, relations between Cuba and Dominica continue to strengthen as a technical cooperation agreement in health between the two countries has been renewed. The previous agreement, signed in 1997, expired last year. However, Cuba's ambassador to Dominica emphasized that the two countries have a deep, mutually beneficial relationship in the field of health, and Cuba will continue to assist Dominica where needed.
This agreement shows the political will from the Cuban government and Cuban people to continue helping Dominica. We are friends, we are sister island, and we are from the same region. We are Caribbean. We will continue helping Dominican people. Despite U.S. embargo against Cuba, despite that, so we will continue helping Dominican people. This is the spirit of the Cuban Revolution, to help.
The Minister for Health highlighted that the relationship with Cuba is even more important now as the country is preparing for the national hospital.
This technical cooperation is amongst the largest, if not the largest, contributor to the health sector during the last 3 decades. We have trained and continue to train a number of our officers in various specialties. And I speak to arrangement under the Cuba CARICOM arrangement and also bilateral arrangements with Dominica, where several of our medical officers have pursued and are pursuing and will continue to pursue areas of specialized training in various disciplines to include surgery, internal medicine, nephrology, intensive care medicine, emergency medicine, geriatrics, among others. Now, the training of these sons and daughters of the soil form part of a strategic plan to fill the growing demands and needs of our population, and of course to equip the upcoming new national hospital with the requisite resources, human and otherwise, to meet this growing demands and these growing needs.
Dominica and Cuba have been enjoying relations in the field of health since 1989. Onto law enforcement now, where tracking devices on police vehicles may become reality soon. Speaking to members of the police force on Friday, the Prime Minister warned that further misuse of police vehicles could result in tracking devices being used to hold police officers accountable for the vehicles.
You may very well have to force me to put tracking devices on every vehicle that you have. Now, there is indeed a proposal before me that I have not given much consideration to. But if I will decide how well you use it before appending my signature to this proposal. So we would know, Chief would know when he would plug in GA 605. And when GA is supposed to be in Grand Bay is in Portsmouth, then the superintendent must answer to the chief and say, well, why is it in Portsmouth and not Grand Bay?
The Prime Minister reminded the police force that government continues to invest heavily in ensuring that they are well equipped to carry out their jobs, and to this extent, they must show greater respect for state property.
I mean, $3.6 million for Calabishi Police Station is a lot of money. $5+ million for Grand Bay Police Station is a lot of money. $3.7 million for a Lapin Police Station is a lot of money. Understand? It's a lot of money. And we have to be able to show to the public that those resources are in fact manifesting themselves in the way we conduct our business. If we do not use it properly, we are denying ourselves and our country, and indeed our children, from a better way of life, because that's resources we will have to fetch again instead of improving education, instead of improving healthcare, instead of improving the road infrastructure.
A consultant has been appointed to advance a move to introduce consumer protection legislation. Trade Director Mathen Walter told Channel 5 News the consultant was recently on island on an initial fact-finding mission as part of a consumer protection framework project. It's expected that the consultant will complete a final draft of the consumer protection bill by March 2017.
This has been, as you well know, a long time a long time coming. We have been working assiduously with the Ministry of Justice to be able to conclude the bill. We have engaged a consultant, and one of the functions or the duties of that consultant in the terms of reference is to be able to prepare the bill for submission to Cabinet and then to Parliament. He's supposed to be back in Dominica. The lifespan of the project is March 2017. So the idea would be to try as much as possible to ensure that by that time we would be able to manifest movement of the bill in the right places.
A Consumer Protection Commission would strengthen the hand of government to implement consumer protection laws, a system which the country does not yet have in place.
We had a generic Dominican bill for some time, and then in 2015, CARICOM introduced what they call the CARICOM Harmonized Bill, and the idea really was to be able to reconcile, is the word I'm looking for, both bills, but obviously taking on board the country's unique circumstances, even in relation to the cost of, for example, putting in place a consumer commission, because although CARICOM, the CARICOM bill speaks to the consumer commission, but from an OECS standpoint, we are looking to having more of a regional commission, but a national focal point here that could feed information into that commission so as to save costs. So the discussions continue to happen as it relates to how best to implement the legislation in Dominica.
Coming up, the 2016 Cultural Elder and the Tea Matador. Thanks for staying with us. Leader of the opposition United Workers' Party is of the view that more public debate should have been held on certain amendments to the Sexual Offences Act. Andrea Louis has more.
Last Friday, the discussion on the Sexual Offences Act got underway in Parliament, and thus far, the most topical area of concern is that of marital rape. Member of Parliament for Marigot and Leader of the Opposition believes there should have been wider discourse on the issue of marital rape, especially with the religious community, as this new legislation will have an impact on the institution of marriage.
The whole question of spousal rape, insofar as the biblical definition of marriage is concerned, is what the pastors and religious leaders of church are talking about. And perhaps that needed to be ventilated a little more fully in the public before this matter went to a vote, to debate and a vote in the Parliament. All three readings of this bill will be taken at the sitting of the Parliament, unlike the Bail Act, where it's only the first reading, and then the second and third readings will happen at a subsequent sitting of Parliament, which means there is time now for the public to get involved in discussions of what has been put before the Parliament. Perhaps the same thing could have been done with the Sexual Offences Act.
As with the other opposition members who have spoken on amendments to the Sexual Offences Act, Linton is in full support of other aspects of the Act, particularly the sections which deal with the protection of children.
There are some provisions there which are absolutely necessary for the protection of children. We talk about the mandatory reporting of offense of child sexual abuse by people who are in a position to know, and the criminalizing of the failure to report. We look at the provisions for the prevention of obstructing prosecution of cases involving minors, and those are important provisions to strengthen the legislation and to offer a greater amount of protection for the children of Dominica, which is a wonderful thing.
Last year, the government put in place a special committee chaired by legal advisor Ray Harris to look at the various recommendations for amending the Sexual Offences Act of 1998. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
More news now. Physically challenged Dion Green has been described as an exceptional student by the Dean of Faculty of Education at the Dominica State College. At the closing ceremony held on Friday for the learners who participated in its CARICOM Education for Employment Youth Skills Development Pre-Technology, Meryl Matthew encouraged other students to be like Green as it relates to determination and perseverance. Green admitted that the course specialized in bartending did impact him in a positive manner.
I feel proud. I feel proud for them. I feel proud for myself, you know. because being able to do this bartending course is not only going to open doors for themselves, but it's going to open doors for others, because when you do the bartending course, you want everybody to know that you're a bartender. You want everybody to know that you have that skill, you know? And one thing we learn in bartending, a bartender, he has many different roles to play. He plays the role of the doctor. When you're sick, you go to the bar, he can help you out. When you have woman problems, you go to the bar.
Students were told that they could now use their new skills to gain an income.
I'd like to think it's the beginning of the rest of your life. You have now the skills that you require to basically make money. Yesterday was the commencement of the major college, the major commencement that we hold each year. And today it's your commencement. But the difference is, there's no difference. The students who graduated in biology, chemistry, math, psychology, they have the skills. Today you have yours. And yours is certainly more marketable. I say that because our industries in Dominica, our budding industry, the industries of the future, are hospitality, tourism, and agriculture.
60 students consisting of 26 males and 34 females graduated. This year's cultural elder is a resident of Mao who lives by the motor service. 94-year-old Philippa Christopher was known for promoting the national wear and participating in WOB-duet competitions. Christopher was the go-to person in Mao for making fiber mattresses, piercing babies' ears, and organizing wakes and kudme in the community.
Miss Christopher was an active business leader in the community. She was a self-employed farmer whose produce was sold within the community. She also gave produce to the many villagers who needed a meal in the community. Her contributions nurtured many people within Maho and neighboring villages. As a devout Catholic, she impressed the Catholic community, the village of Maho and Dominica, with her warmth, wisdom, and kindness. Over the years, many people who worked with her on a number of neighborhood events would always be amazed by her commitment to community, her spirit of giving, and the skill for community organizing.
Speaking on behalf of the Prime Minister, who had already attended the Mass and exhibition earlier in the day, Minister for Social Services Catherine Daniel made this appeal.
Let us as a people, as a community, take pride in being Dominicans, pride in our culture, which we embrace with love and dignity.
A number of individuals also received special recognition awards, among them Father Clement Jolly, the Benjamin family, Josephine Henry, Lennox Alexander, Dr. Damian Dublin, Manuel Luke, Annette John Charles Stedman, and Philip Nassif. The 1st Mao Guide Company, 3rd Mao Scout Troop, Dominic Save, Mervyn Thomas, Pastor Lena Augustine, and Asenol Benedict John also received recognition awards. St. Martin Primary School has good reason to be proud of Joelle George, winner of the 2016 Tea Matador title. Miss George also won Best in Spectacular Creole Wear, Best Powell Creole, and Best Jeep. We captured the moment when the winner was announced.
The winner, Joelle George of the St. Martin Primary School. Joelle George.
Marcy Savre of Roosevelt Douglas Primary came close to winning the title, securing 1st runner-up position and Best in Performing Arts. 2nd runner-up position went to Kehana Blanc of Grand Bay Primary. Other contestants were Nixia Matthew, Goodwill Primary, and Kiara Kazimi, Newtown Primary. That's news. Your sports highlights next. Cricket takes the first knock, where West Indies required another 285 runs with 6 wickets remaining in the second innings of the second test against Pakistan on Monday. In the first innings, Pakistan scored 452 all out, with Yunus Khan making 127 and Misbah-ul-Haq 96. Shannon Gabriel and Jason Holder went through the Pakistani batting lineup, taking 5 for 96 and 3 for 47 respectively. In reply, the Windies was bowled out for 224, with no Windies batsman topping Darren Bravo's 43. In the second innings, Pakistan declared on 227 for 2. Azhar Ali top scored for Pakistan with 79, while Asad Shafiq supported with 58 and Sami Aslam 50. The Windies next at the crease scored 171 for 4 in 62 overs. Craig Brathwaite 67 and Jermaine Blackwood 41. In football, Northern Concrete and Steel Bombers head the point standing with 19 at the end of round 1 of the DFA Flow Premier League on the weekend. On Friday, Waukee Rollers crushed RIC Kensborough 9-1 at Dublin. Corinne Riviere, Daniel Robert and Dion Dinard all scored twice for Waukee Rollers, with single goals from Alajuan Paul, Wadi Pielwi and Delvin Geese. Maya Moransi got the lone goal for Kensborough. On Saturday, Sagicor Southeast defeated Caribbean Cool Harlem United 2-0 at Dublin Playing Field. Sydney Lockhart scored both goals for Sagicor. At Benjamin's Park, Northern Concrete and Steel Bombers bested Middleham United 2-0. Jamie Parrillaw and Clayton Monroe scored for Bombers. Meantime, on Sunday, Exodus Football Club secured second place, compliments a 2-0 victory over Petro Caribe Point Michel. Romario Bergins got both goals for Exodus. In another game, Dublin Football Club hammered Bath Estate FC 7-0. Chad Bertrand netted 4 times for Dublin, with Rufus Sun-Pielwi scoring 2 and Travis Joseph 1. Meanwhile, the Secondary Schools Football Championships continue on Tuesday with games in the under 15 and 20 categories. At Portsmouth, it will be a clash between the Portsmouth Secondary and the Dominica Grammar Schools at 2 and 3:30 p.m. Castlebrew Secondary will play host to St. Mary's Academy in an under 15 encounter at 2:30. Over on the West Coast, the Isaiah Thomas and the Pierre Charles Secondary Schools will do battle at 2 and 3:30. And at Portersville, Goodwill Secondary and the Dominica State College will go head-to-head in the under 20 category. Well, the Windies won the toss and chose to bat first, scoring 69 for 2 in the first unofficial one-day international against Sri Lanka A on Monday. With 12.5 overs bowled, Kyle Hope was undefeated on 28, with support from Chadwick Walton 16 and Asad Fuddadin 14. Kassan Rajitha took 1 for 22 and Amil Aponso 1 for 13. Sports continues in Mohali, where Virat Kohli's unbeaten century helped give India the added boost to secure the win against New Zealand in the third one-day international on Sunday. India won the toss and decided to chase, with New Zealand being bowled out for 285. Tom Latham scored 60 and James Neesham 57. Set 286 for victory, the Indians only needed 5 men for the job as they went on to score 289 for 3 in 49.2 overs. Player of the match Virat Kohli smashed 154 not out, while Mahendra Dondi supported with 80. India leads the 5-match series 2-1. Next up, Dominica finished 4th and 5th in the girls and boys categories respectively in the 2016 International Handball Federation's Caribbean Trophy Tournament on the weekend. Martinique placed first, followed by Guadeloupe and French Guiana. Those countries copped the awards in the male and female categories. The other participating countries were Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and St. Kitts and Nevis. That's all the sporting highlights for now. We'll see you in the next one. Your weather forecast is next.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am your presenter, Annie Coretta Joseph. A weak tropical wave affected the region today, and this resulted in partly cloudy to cloudy skies over the Lesser Antilles. Visible satellite imagery showed few low-level clouds and high-level clouds over Dominica throughout the course of the afternoon. Radar imagery indicated some scattered showers across the region. Conditions for tonight: partly cloudy to cloudy with some scattered showers and possible thunderstorm activity. Tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with showers and thunderstorm activity. Persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides and fallen rocks, you are advised to exercise some caution. Sea conditions, slight to moderate in open water, with waves up to 5 feet. Taking a look at the next 3 days, a weak tropical wave will continue to affect the island tomorrow, resulting in partly cloudy to cloudy skies with scattered showers and thunderstorm activity tomorrow, Tuesday. A surface trough is expected to linger across the area from Wednesday, resulting in partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers and possible thunderstorm activity, mainly during the afternoon. And on Thursday, cloudy skies with some scattered showers and thunderstorm activity during the morning. Across the region tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers across the region, with some thunderstorm activity over the northern and central portions. On the international scene, clear skies in New York, overcast skies in Miami, cloudy skies in London, some thunderstorm activity in Caracas, and partly cloudy skies in Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6 a.m. and set at 5:38 p.m. For up-to-date information, log on to our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and join us next time. Good night.
And in a brief announcement, Monday24 would like to apologize to residents of Sylvania, Corona, and Sultan for the disruption in service on October 23 and 24 due to a damaged optical cable. Monday sincerely regrets any inconvenience caused as a result. To end the news, a recap of the headlines. The Prime Minister promises to strengthen anti-rape laws in the country. Plus, Cuba and Dominica renew agreement for technical cooperation in health, and the opposition leader recommends further discussion on the Sexual Offences Act. Feel free to contact us at news@monday24.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Kenny Williams. To our viewers around the world, we thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.